Let's learn how to do this simple sketch. We have the reference image in the left top corner. Now we'll break down this complex sketch into simple sketch. And what I've done here is first I've put a margin, square margin around the paper. This is an outline boundary in which we are going to do this sketch. Now first step is we have to start with the basic drawing the crude outline of the thing. What we are trying to do is we're trying to get a rough outline of the reference image. You can see it's easy if you put the squares, circles, the shapes which I have done here using a scale, and then try to form the image. That would reduce our work, and as a beginner it would help you a lot. And drawing the basic outline is very important part of the sketch. You can use H pencil or 0.5 mm mechanical pencil, and start with light strokes. Don't put too much of pressure on the paper. All we are trying to do is get something rough image which resembles the one in the reference image. The reference image is available in the link below in the description. You can download it, and it would be easy if you just look at it, and then, or if you are way too uh, bad at drawing and you are just have begin sketching, you can take a printout, keep it next to you, and then draw. So what I'm trying to do here is getting that rough sketch. It requires time. Take your own time. It's coming really good. Don't put too much of pressure on the paper. Once you are there with the rough outline, let's move to the second step, drawing fine sketch outline using the pencil. This is an important step and easy one because you have the crude thing already available. All you need to do is erase the impressions and try to get the mm, actual resemblance, the image which resembles the thing. Once the rough draft version is over, we are gonna begin this second step. All you need to do is erase the extra sketch marks and make sure you get the basic outline right. This is very important because this is very basic step. Now let's put an margin. I have extended the margin here because there is no space to accommodate the mirror. You can alter your sketch whenever you want and however you want. It all depends on you, how you want to see, how you are feeling the way your sketch is coming. Now we'll move, like since we have begun the third step, the finishing the details including car background. You can take however much time on this also, because once you get the basic image right, later you can move to further part wherein you can finish the shading, detailing, stippling, all the other steps. Step number 3, I guess for beginner this is sort of easy thing, one because once you get the basic right, even you can draw as an artist. All the difference between the artist and the beginner is the beginning steps, step 1 and step 2, getting the crude sketch right. If you are not that good with it, try to take a printout of the reference image, mark the location position using scale and try to replicate it on the sheet of paper. That would like help you to um, get better at this. The more you sketch, the more better you get, and there's no other remedy for step 1 and step 2. The only thing which you can do is practice, and proper technique can make practice much more enjoyable. Try to use eraser as much as possible. Don't try to stick on the thing which you drew in the beginning and keep working on it only, because it might not be the exact way. You have to erase, repeat, erase, do, redo, erase, sketch, and like make it look as much as similar to that of the reference image. For beginner, it's easy to sketch live models or image rather than by using imagination. So you need not be like, I have to draw out of my own imagination. You have to use the reference image. If you are gonna do something more creative, find an image of something you like, or look for an object or person around you to draw. And I recommend not to take such drastic steps. Take your own time, start with basics. Once you start practicing, once you're there, we'll work on it. And what we are trying to do here is we are getting the mirror outline. Even this part is very important, because you can see in the mirror there are two things. One is a car reflection and other reflection is of that of a person. So there should be enough space for the person and enough space for the car. Car should be like made to look like car. So plan accordingly and design the mirror. And here also you have to apply the same thing. Pay attention to primary steps. All objects are made up of combination of basic shapes. So even here you can see the rear mirror is a sort of triangle in shape, and the handle is in shape of combination of semicircle and a rectangle. Even the seat, it's like oval shape and a rectangle combined together. So I guess it's sort of coming good. I'm still working on that car mirror, because you have to get it proper to give the viewers that appeal, artistic appeal, that you have put efforts there. And nothing comes for free. All you need to do is put efforts. Once you feel you are getting there, you need not press too heavily. This sketch is intended to be a base or draft of an image, because we are going to work the later part using Pitt artistic pens. And don't erase too often, because it damages your paper. But with the light stroke of pencil and not pressing it too heavily, it might not damage paper to that extent. I'm still trying to get the basic image right here. It should be somewhat similar, not exact. You can't get exact similar thing, but it should be somewhat similar. And please erase all the smudge marks which forms right now, like then itself you have to erase. When it forms that time itself, erase it, because later it might not stick as a smudge, proper smudge. I guess we are done with the fine sketch outline. The step 2 is done. Now let's move to step 3. Sorry, now let's move to step 4. Step 3 is done. This is step 4, wherein we trace the outline using the Pitt Art pen. Right now I'm using zero point 0.5 mm Pitt Art pen. It's also called by the letter F. The line size will be 0.5 mm. And what I'm doing here is tracing the outline on this pencil sketch. You need not be like I won't do it on this sketch. You separate some parallel to sketch, leave all that thing, do it on the pencil marks. Leg is not that proper, I felt, so I sort of erased it again. Now it's somewhat similar. You can see on the screen that it's mentioned the pen has that word F, the line which says 0 0.5 mm. All I'm trying to do here is tracing the outline. Once you get the basic outline right, see, the further process becomes way too easy. All you have to do is just trace. Even here, if you feel that you haven't got it right, you can erase it and further do it properly. But once you are done with the Pitt pens, you sort of can't. So I recommend you to focus more on the step 1, 2, 3 of the process. I'm using my free hand to draw lines. You can use scale. As a beginner, it is recommended for you guys to use scale. It's just because of the practice that I like to use free hand when drawing straight lines. Even if you want to draw like this straight lines, you have to practice it a lot. With practice comes good skills, so practice it often. Drawing lines, circles whenever you're free, that's an important part because it's very useful, since all the figures are combination of basic figures such as squares and circles and rectangles and combination of lines. I would recommend you to use pencil and try to practice lines and circles as often as possible to be better at this. I didn't feel the shadow was right, so I sort of again corrected it. You can do this. Don't be stubborn and stick to the same thing that I have to on this, I have to work on it on this only. You can erase it whenever you want and do it. So once we are there, we'll trace it using Pitt Pen. And I'm still using F line size Pitt Pen. Now let's move to the next step, erasing all the pencil outline completely. This is very important thing because we have to erase it all. The out pencil marks leave a smudge, so you have to erase the pencil marks once you are done with it. Now let's move the next step, stippling art on the dress. This step may be new to many of you guys. Step number 6, that is Stippling art on the dress. What is stippling art? Stippling art is nothing but you all you do is get the sketch using dots, and it's way too simple. Instead of shading, you use dots. In terms of technique, this may not sound overly complicated. Dot the paper, it sounds way too simple, but however, there is bit more consideration that goes in placement of dots. I'm using this S size pencil, that is 0.3 mm line size Pitt art pen. This like 0.3 mm inch nib works good for this stippling thing. I'm putting a series of small dots. Now we'll move to the next step, working on the finer details inside the car. As you can see, it's a very small sketch of the car inside the mirror, so you should use point 0.1 mm line size Pitt art pen, that is XS. Again, I'm tracing the outline of the car. This requires bit patience because you're dealing with a tiny detail object. The car looks way too small inside here, and you have to make it look like car, so you have to put a lot of effort. Getting tracing the outline is easy part. Now let's begin the doing the finer details, that is shading. We'll erase the pencil marks as we did with the outline, like other part of the sketch. We have to do the same with this too. Once we have erased it, uh, I'll draw a line just below from where I'll draw parallel lines. These are very fine details. That small circle is a reflection. Parallel lines way too adjacent to each other. That's all you need to do after doing that. Now let's shade this part. I'm using excess pencil. Do remember the line size should be 0.01 mm. Just follow along with me this part alone, like wherein and I don't know how to explain. It's very simple. I'm trying to put finer details. If you are a beginner, you can stop at this point. Further shading might not be advisable, but if you want to try out something cool, then I would say uh, reduce the speed of the video playback speed, and then try to follow, sketch along with me. Now let's shade this seat and drawing parallel lines. Again, parallel lines on the headrest. I'm using S pencil to shade this part. Again, assist to excess. This part is fun, filling the colors after shading. And now let's focus on the mirror. As you can see, we still have the pencil outline left on the mirror, And what I'm trying to do here is getting the reflection right. The frame is very easy, but working on the reflection is a bit difficult. So all you need to draw is sort of parallel lines, which shows that there is some reflection on the mirror. Just sketch along. If you don't get any idea, pause the video, see it properly, then again do it. Now let's move to the next step, filling in the empty space with marker pen or paint. I prefer marker pen. Paint might sound cool, but takes more time than compared to filling it using marker pen. So it's just like coloring the sketch. First get done with the open spaces, big wide open spaces, the edges, all the stuff you don't need to fill with this marker. You can use a marker with smaller nib size. This is way too fun. All you need to do is just fill the colors. Don't worry about the borders. Even if there's slight bit of white spaces there, will work using a marker with small nib size. It's difficult to show it in the mirror using this pen, so now let's use smaller pen. I'm using F size pen here, no, M size pen, to get the borders, the edges properly filled. Even you can do the same. That's how you do. First fill the wide open spaces, then small tiny details. The sketch is coming really good. Again, I use marker to fill in that white space, and there is a border gap in the border, so again we'll use a smaller pen. Now let's move to the further step, work on finer details. I'm using XS pen here because the line size is way too small, and to get the darker tones we'll use a large line size pen. All I'm doing here is drawing parallel lines, very adjacent, very close to each other. Same here, draw parallel lines, parallel, 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 parallel to each other. Now bit diagonal lines of same distance like the way we drew the initial parallel lines, and darken the distal parallel lines. You need not do it through entire length. Now we have left this out, mirror filling or coloring the mirror. I'm using M size pen, which is 0.7 mm line size. It's coming really good. Just enjoy the process. Don't worry much about the result, even if it's not coming the exact way which is in the reference image. People won't have reference image to compare it and judge you unless you show them. Take your own time. I had forgot to erase the pencil marks. Can I erase it them now? Need not be the exact way which is in the reference image. There might be slight alteration. That's the fun part. People won't judge you, so don't worry too much if it's not coming exactly the way it is. Even if it's to a certain extent, it's fine. Now l- we are almost there, done with the uh, finer details, but we are forgetting something. Almost the sketch seems to be complete, but what is it? Yeah, the guy in the mirror, reflection of the guy. So let's finish it off this mirror part first before we move to the reflection part. I felt I'm not getting it right, so I just did it. I just color it off using the marker. Now let's start with the guy part. This step, what I call work on the remaining details, is the only part, like the guy is the only part remaining here. Again, start with the basic things: circle as a head, rectangle as a body shape, and a collar which is also rectangle. I draw I just drew the face rough outline, then I'm trying to put the spectacles. We'll do the hair, 2 years. There need not be much detail on this guy because he is farther away than he seems. So he's small, so you need not get exact details on his face, everything including nose, eyes. It need not be there. Even a simple thing. For his clothes, I'm using F line size pen. For his face, use XS. I'm just drawing the outline. And for the shading is the same thing. I'm trying to use the parallel lines. Shade only on the one side of the face. That is, I have shaded on the left side. The same side should be of more darker thing when you shade the clothes. I guess we are almost done. Blow the air before erasing on the Pitt pen. First the ink should get dried, later we have to erase. Don't erase on spot. Now let's work on the remaining details, that is a background. It's simple. I'm trying to draw line, a rain, something which resembles rain. It's not raining though, it's just drizzling or snowflakes. I don't know what it is. uh yeah, we are done. Now last step, find a place, put the signature, and there's it. Like and subscribe channel. Thank you.